It's conservative assassin, truth stay shining, busting on you wizards so the truth stay climbing. It's conservative assassin, truth stay shining, busting on you wizards so the truth stay climbing. It's conservative assassin, truth stay shining, busting on you wizards so the truth stay climbing. It's conservative assassin, truth stay shining, busting on you wizards so the truth stay climbing.
What's up, everybody? Welcome in, Conservative Assassin, episode number 10. If you're there, let me know, say what's up, and so I can give you a shout out. And so, of course, this is the anti-PC live stream community where we expose lies and exalt truth. Episode number 10, banned, deplatforming, sacred cows, and free speech. And we're going to get into it. So I appreciate all the support. Shouts out to the wifey, Russell fam, Big Bear, Crow 777, G1 fam, Cross Culture, and Joe, the caffeinated assassin, all legends. And so I appreciate it. And like, share, subscribe. I did a watermark thing, and so it's supposed to populate on my videos. It hasn't yet, but when it does, it should say subscribe right about there. And so we're working on that. So I want to show you guys something really quick. Of course, Joe, the caffeinated assassin, is one of the people that make this possible. So I want to reveal his identity. So there he is, the caffeinated assassin, right here, computer nerd by day. Sorry, bro, I'm revealing your alter ego, your secret identity, but caffeinated superhero by night. He is out there hitting up all of the coffee spots, making sure that you don't get any of those frilly little lattes. Straight up black coffee, and he's going to save you. Anyways, that was retarded. All right, so what's up, y'all? What's up, Sister Vic? I see you there. And of course, tonight's Friday night, and so not the best night to have a stream because, you know, it's payday. People have money, and people want to go spend it, and I get it. So if you're tuned in, I appreciate it. Appreciate you taking the time. And anybody that listened to me for 5 minutes, well, you're welcome to it. Anyways, so what's up, Brother Joe? Sister Cynthia, appreciate you guys tuning in. So, of course, as I said, episode number 10 called Banned. And I have officially been banned from Facebook. Now, they've been messing with me almost since the very beginning. But initially, they started taking down my content, giving me warnings, locked me out of my account. And then they unpublished my account and told me I could appeal it, which I did. I guess some litigation thing. There's all kinds of lawsuits against Facebook for censorship and all that. So I appealed it. But today I was denied my appeal and they deleted my Facebook page completely. So it's gone. Conservative Assassin, no longer on Facebook. I do still have my personal page, but they sent me a warning telling me if I share content, blah, 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 that they're going to kick me off of Facebook completely. So we'll see what happens. And so, banned, censored, deplatformed, queers and sodomites and trans child abuse, no problem. No big deal. God-hating, Christian-hating, Bible-hating trolls, no problem. You're welcome on Facebook. Come and join. ISIS, terrorists, no problem. Come on board. Tell the truth and call people out on their slop. Get the hell out of here. That's what they told me. Banned. Anyways, I found out an interesting thing. An old friend of mine from school, Ed Schumann, told me that the general that just got blown to pieces in Iran had an Instagram account, Twitter, whatever. So all of these terrorists are welcome on Facebook, but not me apparently. All of the sodomite propaganda and all that junk, it's all welcome on Facebook, but not me. They don't want me on there. My problematic Christian worldview does not conform to their community standards. I got about 25 of those notices. You are not satisfying, or you're in violation of our community standards, whatever, you know. So that's what they hit me with. And so the last thing I posted on Facebook before I was banned, I'll share with you guys, original Christ-servative meme, and hilarious, by the way. And so there it is, gender neutral restroom, gender neutralized restroom. And that is hilarious. Of course, I put that up, and then within 10 minutes, I was banned. Now, that wasn't the first, they took the content down. That wasn't the first time that they took content. They took content off my page several times. And, but, you know, they'll allow, you know, all your little drag queen story hour crap, and, all of the propaganda, all of the nonsense, all welcome, but not me, apparently. And, so I got banned for community stand, whatever, you know. And by the way, the trolls are out in full force, by the way, on the YouTube channel. My Facebook got shut down, but they found me on YouTube. And apparently I'm a troll magnet. And, trolls, have a tendency to act like women. And I apologize for that, ladies. That doesn't mean that all ladies are trolls, that trolls, have a tendency to go in there and say, "Oh, how dare you, sir? How dare you say that? That wasn't very nice. How dare blah blah blah." Like, shut up. No, matter of fact, if somebody wants to censor me, boom, see ya. That's what I gotta say about that. But anyways, I only got a few people tuning in. I'm glad you tuned in tonight, guys. But so, oh, by the way, comment if please comment. I'll try to do a better job at getting to those. Trying to build the community. So we'll get to it. Oh, anyways, but the trolls, one of the things the trolls said is that I ramble on at the beginning of the broadcast, like 4, 5, or 6, 7 people. I don't know. I lost count. They're like, get into the content, bro. Nobody wants to listen to you ramble. But dude, if you don't want to listen to me, monologue about random stuff, then boom. Anyways, I was banned for the last straw was my gender neutralized restroom. But I noticed that some people have been posting vagina pics on Facebook, and I want to know why they're not getting banned. Matter of fact, I screenshot it. Boom, there it is, and that is outrageously inappropriate content. And the people that is posting this stuff right here, I want to know why I'm getting banned and they're not getting banned. Doesn't make any sense. Anyways, so they banned me for my obvious unforgivable transgressions, saying sodomy and trans junk is immoral, saying pornography is psychological and relational and spiritual suicide, and by the way, it's prostitution, for saying atheism and evolutionism is retarded, for saying social justice and white privilege and all the identity politics is nonsense, for saying abortion is murder and feminism is slavery and globalism is Satanism and pedophiles should be executed and NASA is a con hustle sci-fi joke, the obvious stuff. So, trying to get caffeinated, y'all. Trying to get some traction here. But anyways, obvious stuff. And the truth is that I'd rather be chained to a wall in a dungeon than go along with all this slop. And that's what they want. They want us to conform to their community standards, conform to, their homo agenda, conform to their trans child abuse agenda. And by the way, it's getting propagated. And by the way, it's total nonsense, perversion. And I'd rather be locked up and have the key thrown away than go along with that slop. Like, I'm not in it for money. I ain't trying to get a payday. I don't care about Patreon. I don't care about super chats. I don't care about shiny nickels, and I don't care about lollipops and fancy pants. They can ban me. So what? I came to this thing ready for a fight. My mind's made up. I already know whose side I'm on. And the sissy little posers, they don't have an iron fist. All they can do is, with their little gamma ways, ban me from a social media platform. So what? So what? don't care. You know, that's all they are, is they're little sissy posers. And you know, they don't got, like I said, they don't got an iron fist. They ain't gonna beat anybody up. They ain't gonna throw anybody in no gulag. They're gonna ban me from Facebook. And so, whatever. You know, the weapons of my warfare are not carnal. Don't care about Facebook. And look, you can't make me compromise with the insanity, you know, and all you little social justice, virtue signaling, you know, rainbow parade prancing, little fairy socialists, globalists, queers can take your little satanic Ponzi scheme and choke on it. Cheers. And by the way, that's what they're doing. They're just choking on their own nonsense. I mean, they're choking on their own vomit is what they're doing. And, you know, we're just trying to be progressive. What you call progressive is what I call debauchery and insanity. And, you know, what it is just an insane Ponzi scheme of just total debauchery. Taking out the trash. Yes, sir. Anyways, maybe I should do this. Take it out the trash so that way people don't think I'm just like randomly talking, just randomly, you know, having conversations with my imaginary friend or whatever. But, you know, what was I talking about? Oh, Ponzi scheme. Yeah. Oh, what's up? Oh, hey, one of my dudes from YouTube says, so far I've seen nothing but hate from your streams. Are you actually religious? Oh, thanks, bro. Thanks for coming to hate on me. How do you say your name, by the way? Amu Ajuju? What's up, Amu Ajuju? Thanks for showing up to talk crap. Anyways, what was I talking about? Oh, I was talking about the insane Ponzi scheme of debauchery. That's what I was talking about. And so, at any rate, that's what it is. And you know, nonsense. What nonsense needs is it needs, you know, more investors, you know, to keep the agenda moving. And so first, you know, we had feminism and all of that nonsense, and then moved into social justice, and then LGBTQ, and then trans kids, and it cycled all the way down to trans kids, where now they're giving making 4-year-olds wear dresses and take hormone blockers. And Mama Juju probably thinks I'm hateful for saying that. You're probably like a real social justice warrior and an advocate for little boys wearing dresses. Anyways, that's what I accused. That's what I get accused for hate speech for, by saying trans children propaganda is child abuse, straight up. And I'll die on that hill, by the way. You know, I'm not going to get in a fight about fuss and fight over, you know, saying, you know, Michelle Obama looks like Chewbacca or whatever. You know, people want to call me out on that. Whatever. I'm not going to fight about it. But when somebody says 4-year-olds can be trans, screw you. Not putting up with it. Not going to stand for it. Not going to stay quiet about it. Anyways, so yeah, this insane Ponzi scheme, it just needs more investors. It's constantly got to pull in and import more and more nonsense, and they always need a new victim group. And, you know, they just keep stacking lies, you know, so that people can keep drinking out of their poison well. Because if they don't just keep stacking lies, if they don't keep pulling in one new victim group after another, then their poison well runs dry. And, you know, people start figuring it out after a while. And it's just a propaganda. It's just a stacking up of one lies after another. Amuma Juju, I'm religious. We are taught to be accepting and not hateful to others. I'm just wondering what the point of these rants are. Well, stick around, Amma Juju, and maybe you'll get it after a while. And by the way, congratulations on being religious, whatever that means. And so, anyways, you know, these people are slamming their heads against the wall because their digital, you know, dystopia is not working out for them. You know, all their online media propaganda, you know, they're trying to sell people, but it just doesn't jive with people's just most basic intuitions, their most basic moral intuitions. I mean, anybody with one good moral eyeball can see that trans gender, trans children is nonsense. Listen, if you're a full-grown adult and you want to chop your penis off, help yourself. But leave the kids alone, you psychopath. And by the way, that's what they're doing. By the way, and I've talked about it in the past, all it is just an agenda to normalize pedophilia. That's what it's all about. And you got all these mainstream media anchors bringing on children, young boys wearing dresses, and propping that whole situation up as though it's normal and it's heroic, but it's child abuse and it's insanity. And so people are just like, people are getting fed up with it. People kind of go along for a while, feminism, all right, social justice, okay. Homo stuff, okay, if you want, yeah. And then after a while, people are just like, whoa, that's nonsense. That's nonsense. It just doesn't jive with people, and people are waking up to the nonsense. And and the insanity, is like, hey guys, we got lollipops and fancy pants, and we'll share it with you if you just conform to our insanity. And look, we're like, screw you, bro. We don't want 4-year-old boys to wear dresses and take hormone blockers, and we don't want penis chopped weirdos to be in the bathrooms with our daughters or reading books to our children. How dare you, sir? How dare you? Somebody's going to report me for hate speech. Now, I'm a Juju. You must got a lot of time, bro. Appreciate you tuning in. What's it say? So you have so far called every single thing that isn't what you agree with a Ponzi scheme and nonsense. Yeah, but my convictions are not informed arbitrarily. My convictions are informed by an absolute standard of morality. And so you must be one of those religious flea floaters that just kind of just float along with the flood of iniquity into insanity. It's not about what I agree. Look, my opinion ain't worth 5 cents, bro. And by the way, neither is yours. Anyways, anybody else want to comment? By the way, oh, I gotta take that down. Let me see. How do I get to these comments? Let's say again, not hating. I'm just saying what I think. Well, I appreciate you being honest, bro. I'm not here to have a spitting match with you. I appreciate you being honest, but I say what I say with a reason, and it's not just because people disagree. I'm not here to chop down people just because they disagree with me. I'm here to chop down the insanity that's leading a culture into absolute debauchery. And so, what you say? I'm a Juju. I'm sorry, bro. I don't want to mispronounce your name. Let me pull it back up so I can see it again. Amumu Juju. I think I said that right. So Amumu Juju. So what, are you an advocate of all of this stuff that I don't agree with? I mean, because if you are, why don't you just step up to the plate and say, yeah, bro, I'm down with trans kids. I'm all about it. Put little boys in dresses and give them pills so they grow tits. Is that what you're about? I mean, you're entitled to your opinion, but I don't have to agree with it, and I don't have to go along with it. And if that's a conviction that you maintain, my conviction is that you are insane, crazy. Anyways, and I don't mean that as an insult. I mean, well, I guess that is kind of insulting, but whatever. Amumu Juju. I think I got it, bro. Appreciate you tuning in. Amumu Juju. By the way, I do appreciate the interchange. So what was we talking about before? Oh yeah, I was talking about the insanity. The cultural insanity is like, hey, just go along with us, and we'll give you some sweet lollipops, and you can wear our fancy pants, and all you gotta do is conform, and just go with the flow, bro. Got some shiny nickels for you. That's what they do. The Facebook page before they banned me was getting 5,000 hits in a week. And I think actually the reason I first got banned was because people started reporting me for hate speech. I think I don't think the algorithms got me initially. I think it was crybabies that, got me initially. People throwing tantrums. And by the way, when people say, all you're doing is calling a Ponzi scheme, but what you don't agree with, like, yo, like what you're doing is you're disagreeing with me. So like, what's up? Like, why is it that we got to legislate who's allowed to disagree with who or whatever? Anyways. And so, people are, people are getting fed up with it. You know what I mean? Like, you couldn't pay me enough money in the world to come out and say that trans children is cool. Like it's an all right thing, like thumbs up. Not happening. I would rather die than go along with that junk. You can't force people to respect what is not respectable or go along with insanity. You can't make people do it. And look, I'm not intimidated. And, there's a lot of people on my side and we're not intimidated and we will fight back. And, the higher you go up the pyramid of power, the pyramid of powerful people who try to intimidate us and control us with their nonsense, people who have a lot of money and a lot of, what appears to be power, what you find out is they're just absolute slaves, like Mark Zuckerberg. I read today that he's worth $77 billion. And you know what? He's a slave. He's a slave, just like the rest of them. The higher you go up, and he's just a low-level puppet compared to some of these guys. But the higher you go up, just the more pathetic these people get, and they exist in a satanic construct of lies and inversion and perversion, and they live in constant fear all the time. And they're just fearfully tormented little puppets, slaves, and there's no rest for the wicked. They have to live in a constant, perpetual lie, and their whole existence is premised on a lie. And in order to keep the lie rolling, you just got to keep piling up lies. And they perpetually live in a lie and a fear of the truth and fear of death, and that's all they know. That's why they're into all this transhumanism nonsense. They're trying to figure out how to escape death. And I'm less interested in who's to blame, and more interested in knowing truth, in order to avoid the pitfalls and the landmines, so I don't get sucked into the nonsense. Like, who's to blame? I don't know. Is it the Jesuits? Maybe. Illuminati? I mean, these are organizations and people that do a lot of wicked, obscene, just ridiculously heinous things. Skull and Bones, Bilderberg Group, members of the Bohemian Grove, the Rothschilds, the international banksters, the Vatican, Zionists, the Jews, maybe the Ashkenazi Jews, the Kabbalists, Satanism, Freemasons. I mean, the list just goes on. And when you start trying to dig and trying to unearth and trying to figure out, you'll waste your life just peering into darkness, trying to figure out who's behind all this stuff. And, all these people do insanely wicked and terrible stuff. But, one thing I know is that Satan's the one that's behind it all. So, I don't care about, Jesuits and Illuminati and, all of this Freemason and, all this, Kabbalist nonsense. I mean, who's behind? Who knows? The people that are, that are at the top of the pyramid that nobody never sees, they're taking orders from their commander-in-chief, who is Satan. And, I know who my enemy is, and, I know the truth is the only way out. A lamp unto my feet and a light unto my path. In God's light, I see light. And so, you can't deconstruct nonsense apart from truth. You waste your life trying to figure out who's to blame for everything. We should just be focusing on what the truth is. The truth as it is in Jesus. Mumu Juju is giving me advice now. Trying people suffering from a disease called ginger dysphoria because they want to do it. They feel like they aren't in the right skin. Yeah, I know how the narrative goes. But at any rate, so you can't deconstruct nonsense apart from truth. The truth is the light that reproves unreality, that reproves darkness, enables us to see reality truly, so we don't get swept away by the flood of nonsense and insanity. And it's like a fox in a hen house. The fox wants to eat my chickens, and so what I do is build strong fortifications to protect my chickens. I like my chickens, so I'm gonna build strong fences, etc. And then further seek to understand something of the nature of foxes, understanding their patterns, understanding their craftiness, understanding what mistakes will lead to the death of my chickens. And once I have done all of that, the foxes will just move on to the next hen house, because they're opportunists. Resist the devil and he'll flee from you. And this insanity exists on opportunity. They got to make you do it to yourself. And so that's what it's like. If I instead went on a mission and just kill all the foxes, I would be engaging on their terms, and that's exactly what they want, by the way. And first I would lose, and second, I would just become a raging lunatic. Where show me where the foxes are and blow your head off. And it's not about killing foxes, it's about knowing the truth to avoid the pitfalls and the landmines. And so as I said, all the trolls have come out in full force with their nonsense, calling me racist and anti-Semitic and hateful. We've already heard some of that tonight. And hate speech and calling me stupid and ignorant, calling me a fake Christian. Heard some of that too. Insulting my family. I've had people say, well, I hope he doesn't have children. That's like coming into the world with 2 strikes already. Somebody said, man, if this guy's married, I hope his wife divorces him. Just nonsense like that. Oh, by the way, some of the trolls say funny stuff, by the way, and I can appreciate a good zinger. You know what I mean? I'm not, but most of it is just nonsense. And so, but a lot of these people are the same people that are advocating a worldview that condones child abuse and baby murder. But I'm the hateful one, right? They're advocating a worldview that undergirds genocide and oppression, and then they want to pin it on me like I'm the hateful guy. That's what they do. They live in the upside down, just absolute inversion. They take all of their nonsense, the implications of all their nonsense, and they try to turn around and say, that's your fault. No. And people know better. And, they want to rail on me, but it's just so hypocritical. And by the way, the people running online media and information platforms are some of the most vile and weak and sick and pathetic and disgusting people in the world. And, they're propaganda pushing, nonsense peddling, free speech hating, insane America hating perverts. Yeah, Mama Juju, you have the right to disagree with me. But if you advocate abortion, that's insane. If you advocate, for trans kids and, homosexuality and all that, that's all insane. So, whatevs. And so, anyways, they, want to level all these indictments on me about how hateful I am, and and then all these, the prep, the dystopia, nightmare that is, social media and online platform. They got their propaganda machine, and they peddle all their nonsense, and the trolls want to talk junk to me and tell me how I'm a fake Christian, and and they talk all the junk they want and tell me how much they hate Christianity, and how my God is a fairy daddy in the sky, but their sacred cows are off limits. They're Don't talk about homosexuality. Don't talk about trans. You know, don't talk about Jews and, you know, all this kind of stuff, you know, all their sacred cows. And, you know, as far as I'm concerned, there are no protected classes from criticism. And, you know, you've heard me say before, you don't want to be part of a protective class. That goes for all of us. Cling to truth. Yeah, they want us to condone their sin. Just can't. Oh. All right. Okay, so that was for Mama Juju right there. So anyways, and so appreciate the comments, by the way, guys. I'll try to keep getting to those as they pop up. But, you know, you can go on social media and talk all the junk you want about Christianity and about the Bible and about, you know, call, you know, advocates of Christianity, you know, level indictments against them for hate speech and tell them they're hateful and all of this kind of stuff. By the way, that's what they do. And by the way, that's welcomed. You know, as far as the social media platforms are, it's like the more the better. And, you know, but as I said, there, as far as I'm concerned, there's, you know, you go after their sacred cows and all of a sudden it's like, oh my gosh, how dare you, sir? How dare you, sir? You know, they talk, you know, junk and just all kinds of blasphemous nonsense. But you say, you know what? You say something like, you know what? Trans children propaganda is insanely wicked, vile, and evil. How dare you, sir? You're so hateful. You're so hateful. But anybody with one good eyeball can see the problem there. It's the upside down. It's insane. And so, you know, as I said, nobody's protected from criticism. And, you know, people get all upset with me and call me racist, you know, for pointing that out. Like, you know, we live in an age of identity politics where everybody wants to be broken down into, you know, class groups, and it's all about discrimination and oppression and all that kind of stuff. But, you know, cultural criticism is not racist, and it's not racism. You know, like if I say, yo, Whitey, quit smoking meth and eating mayonnaise, you know, eating mayonnaise out of the jar. Am I racist? Probably not. I'd probably get a good laugh to that because, you know, because I targeted white people. White people aren't a protected class, not in the identity politics, social justice realm. I mean, all they want from us is reparations. You know, you want reparations from me? Come to my house and get it, sucker. And so you say, yo, what's up, black dude? Why don't you share some of that watermelon and Kool-Aid? Oh my gosh, how dare you? You can talk about white people and mayonnaise, but whatever. And you know, whatever. You know, somebody please tell the little Indian dude to stop calling my house about my extended car warranty. I'm not interested. You know, the thing is that you know, racial stereotypes are hilarious, and if that bothers you, it's because you've been programmed by nonsense. You know, and that's why I say this is anti-PC, because what's the social programming is so fierce and so intense, and it's total nonsense. And you know, the reason why I say things like that is just to mock the nonsense, because it needs to be done. Somebody needs to do it. And by the way, you know, double standards are retarded. Looks like we got a conversation there. I'll let you guys keep up with those comments for a minute because they're getting away from me. But anyways, I remember when I was in high school, I think I was freshman in high school. Of course, it's been a while ago. And some black kid in my class called me Whitey. He said, hey, Whitey, because I went to a predominantly black school. He said, hey, Whitey, and everybody laughed. Ah, ha, 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 that's so funny. So I said, hey, Blackie. And the whole class went, ooh, ooh, and just like total revolt, right? It's that double standard nonsense. you know, everybody is off limits except white people. But, I'm like, screw that. They say, well, it's because, of the system. The system is all white patriarchy, male white patriarchy, and blah, 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 blah. And the system is stacked in the favor of white people and systemic racism and all that. Systemic racism is absolute nonsense, just retarded nonsense. And listen, your problems are not my fault. Listen, it's not my fault you don't have a daddy. Your daddy knocked up your mama and then bounced. It's his fault, not mine. And by the way, I grew up without a father. I grew up in an inner city, and I'm not going to be a victim, and I'm not going to play the blame game and start blaming everybody else. I mean, there comes a time in your life where you just got to take personal responsibility. You know what I mean? Stand on your own 2 feet and take personal responsibility and be a responsible human being and stop blaming everybody else for your irresponsibility and all your nonsense and blaming it on the invisible ghost of systemic racism. Retarded. And don't tell me because I say things like that, well, you just don't have an appreciation for the 400 years of slavery and oppression and blah, 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 blah. Listen, I never owned a slave, sucker, and you never been a slave. And by the way, the history of the world is in one sense a history of slavery. I mean, read the book of Exodus. It was the African people who enslaved the ancient Hebrews for 400 years. And how would you like it if the Jews came to your house, black man, and said, you know what, we're here for reparations. We want you, we feel that you're responsible for 400 years of oppression, and we want proper reparations. And, the reason why my life sucks is because of what your people did. It's just so retarded. It's insanely retarded. Now, let me say this. There is a systemic problem, okay? And it's called the system of this world. And the system of this world is under the control of the God of this world, little g, for the sake of those that don't know your Bible, speaking of Satan, and it's not particular to the destruction of any particular culture or race. So don't flatter yourself thinking that somehow your racial group is a particular target, an exceptional target for cultural destruction or oppression and all this. That's just nonsense. The systemic problem is the system of this world under the control and operation of Satan. And it's not partial to the destruction of any particular racial group or any particular culture. It's partial to the destruction of Christianity and Christian values, which means nobody is off limits. And look, if we understood that we have a common enemy, we would stop fighting each other and quit falling for all the racialized nonsense. And by the way, that's what it's all about. That's what all this identity politic and social justice and all of this just retarded nonsense is about. It's about trying to completely segment and racialize a culture so we'll just fight against each other. And just all the way through without recognizing who the real enemy is. And I'm anti-PC. I'm anti-nonsense, not racist. My message has always been a positive message. Don't fear, don't despair, don't fall for the nonsense, don't compromise with the insanity, have faith in God, fear God only, have family, get married, have children, raise a godly seed, mama, stay at home, raise your children, etc. It's a message of faith, and hope, love, and life, and freedom and family. Checking these people in these comments real quick. That's the message, but their message is darkness, death, sodomy, pedophilia, child abuse, genocide, and I'm the bad guy. I'm the one that gets deplatformed and banned. And, that's the upside down world we live in. And, but people that get it, they're tired of the nonsense. And there are a lot of people that get it. And, nobody outside of the bubble of insanity is buying the nonsense anymore. There's a lot of people that are on my side. People are tired of it. And, we'll push back. We're not just going to sit here and just let the flood of iniquity just float right through and destroy a culture and a nation. And, more and more people are starting to fight back. And I'm glad. And so these maniacs are trying to take away our free speech, but, not without a fight. Right. And that's what all this deplatforming is. It's just a violation of the First Amendment, free speech. And that's part of the reason why I do this. There's a lot at stake. And, I don't care about the social shame and the ridicule. I mean, I got thick skin. People call me retarded and insane and tell me somebody, that you can go on the YouTube channel and look at all the posts, tell me that I need to take my medication and just, some of it is actually pretty funny. But, all of this stuff, and, there's a lot at stake. And, I don't, I'm immune to the shame. I've been at it for a little while. And, I'm not going to let some little tight pants, little gamma, creep intimidate me. Not happening, sucker. And, these people that do this stuff, they're cowards. They're little keyboard pounding trolls, and the people all the way up at the top of the pyramid that are controlling, the algorithms and all the AI nonsense. They're just, they're all cowards. They're all cowards. Listen, I got a little live stream with about 20 people watching, getting a couple thousand views or whatever on Facebook, and they banned me and deplatformed me. Why? Why? For taking a stand against nonsense. So, whatevs. And I'm not going to be pushed around. I'm not a little lapdog, and I'm not a little pussycat that you can just kick around. Not happening. I came and look, I'll fight. The weapons of my warfare are not carnal. I'll fight in the way that I know how. Taking a stand against the nonsense. We got to pick our battles, and I'm not going to die on the hill over something trivial, but I'll die on a hill to protect women and children from insanity, straight up. And I know people tune into this and they think that I'm crazy and unhinged and need medication and all that kind of stuff. But if you stick around a little while, you'll find out that I'm not unhinged. I'm not crazy, that there is a purpose that I'm driving in all of this. And let me say something about free speech. It's the First Amendment for a reason. And, the interesting thing that I found is that everybody claims to love free speech until their sacred cow gets killed. It's like freedom, 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 but pump the brakes, not that one. You can't say that, you homophobe. You can't say that, you transphobe. Oh, you're so anti-Semitic. Oh, you can't say that. That's so racist. It's like everybody's all about freedom of speech until they get hit. And, right-wing people are just like the people they claim to be fighting against. The quote-unquote conservative platforms like PragerU. They're doing they call it a documentary on free speech and how these liberal left-wing platforms are social media platforms and so forth are deplatforming and censoring and kicking people off of their platforms. But you know what? They do the exact same thing. That's exactly right. All of them. They'll prop you up as a champion of free speech as long as you don't go after their sacred cow. And you know what their sacred cow is? Zionism. That's what it is. You know why? Because the international Jewish banksters, the Jewish cabal, are the ones that are funding their nonsense. That's right. So you have all these sweaty meatball wars people saying, blah, 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 free speech, blah, 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 blah. But you start criticizing Jews and you're gone. Same thing with PragerU. And Dennis Prager is Jewish. And look, I ain't got no beef with Dennis Prager, by the way, but I just think he's a hypocrite. I think he's a hypocrite for banning people from his platform. And he's making a documentary to expose the radical left-wing deplatforming and war against free speech, but he does the same exact thing, and he's a stinking hypocrite. So I'm completely lost on the comments now, guys, because I know you guys are talking to each other. But at any rate, so yeah, what were we talking about? Free speech. And you know, in order for free speech to work, you can't regulate insult. You know, I had somebody, one of the trolls, told me online, they're like, hey buddy, I'm sarcastic as hell and I love a good insult, but that Michelle Obama stuff was out of line. And so here we go. You got somebody that wants to legislate insults by his own criteria and say, well, you know, insults are good, just not that one. But, you know, in order for free speech to work, you cannot censor insult. And as soon as you do, there is no free speech. And, you know, now they're passing legislation that maintains that to hurt someone's feelings is to physically harm them. And they're pushing hard to make it a crime. So that's why people need to stand up and not go for this nonsense. Because what's going to happen is if they get their way and the legislation passes, it won't just be deplatforming anymore. You'll be arrested, charged, and put in jail because you hurt somebody's feelings. And it's retarded. It's called hate speech laws. And, you know, being insulted is not the same thing as being assaulted. But that's what they want. They want to conflate those things. And so, you know, they'll be like, you know, you hurt my little baby feelings. So I'm going to charge you with a crime and have you put in jail so I can suck my bottle and wear my diaper. You know, when free speech is eradicated, tyranny ensues. And that's just straight up. A lot of people, I'm trying to hit these comments, guys. A lot of people think they're trying to start a revolution or something. Nah, I'm not. I'm not trying to start a revolution. I'm not a revolutionary. What I'm trying to do is mock nonsense so people can see what illusion is and what truth is. That's all. You know, and it's needed because so many people, the social programming is so intense that, you know, people live in an upside down and they have a hard time discerning what's real and what's not. I mean, some of the cultural lies, they're just so big and so insane. I mean, it's just, you know, you go down the rabbit hole of that, and it's just like, it's just insane how big the lies are. Anyways, you know, Hollywood and the media and all the people that run social media, that, you know, it's all so corrupt, you know, that they'll give a hall pass to a pedophile. And by the way, they're all into it or know about it. You know, I ain't saying everybody in the media, everybody in Hollywood's a pedophile, but they know about it. You can't be in that world and not know about it. But, you know, some dude like me that has a live stream with a few people watching gets banned. You know, because I'll say things like, if I catch a dude in the bathroom with one of my daughters, I will drag you out of there by your little gay ankles and slam your little perverted body up against the wall. How dare you? Listen, you can save the nonsense. Not interested in it. Don't want to hear it. And look, I'm not advocating violence, but I will protect my family, straight up. And I'm not a victim, and I will not allow myself or my family to be victimized by a spiraling victim culture that is trying to pull everyone and everything into it in order to be exploited. I'm not going to allow my family, my wife, or my children to be exploited by a bunch of perverts. And look, if you're a weirdo, then you're a weirdo. Whatevs. But I'm not going along with it, and I'm not going to pretend it's okay. And don't try to use your power to exploit people, to exploit those that are weaker than you or people that are vulnerable, like children. And look, as I said earlier, I know we got to pick our battles, but that is something I'm willing to fight for. And it's not a revolution. Listen, I've maintained, always have maintained, that the way we win is not out there, not by fighting a battle out there. It's not. It's not, like I said, it's not getting a shotgun and going and trying to kill all the foxes. That's not how you win. That's how you lose. The way you win is in your own home with your own family. Listen, I have a family, and I will protect them. I have a wife and 6 children, and I will protect them. I will not allow them to be exploited. Not happening. Not happening. And so I will fight for that, but I won't fight for that by being a revolutionary and trying to rally people together and try to overthrow the system. No, I've never advocated for that because I know that's a losing battle. How we win is grassroots, is by people getting together and saying, you know what? We're going to take care of our homes. We're going to take care of our families, and we're not going to get swept up in the nonsense. Now, I'm telling you that a grassroots movement like that, not a revolution, a grassroots movement like that is how we will win the culture war. Not by, what you call it, right-wing conservative sellouts like, can't even remember his name now, the Turning Point guy, by just endorsing all of the nonsense. By the way, the many of the frontline conservatives are just a couple clicks away from endorsing all this trans kid stuff too. That's why I'm not hooking my wagon to that train. Not doing it. Not doing it. So I will protect my family, and I'll encourage other people to protect their family. I don't advocate violence. I would never tell anybody to be a revolutionary or advocate violence in any kind of a way. Not at all. What I tell people is, look, have faith in God. Get married, have a family, have children, educate and train your own kids. Homeschool, mama stay at home with your children. Fathers, be responsible, work, provide, protect. That's how we win. By having faith in God and raising a godly seed God's way. That's how we win. Keep these comments. What exactly am I trying to win? I am trying. Well, I might have answered that question already. But the battle is this. It's a wolf culture that is, there is a propagation of a wolf culture that's trying to exploit those that are weak and vulnerable, women and children. And what I'm trying to do is say, not me, not my family, not my wife, not my children, and encourage other people to do the same thing. That's it. Say, listen, I'm not going to allow you to just sweep through my life with your wolf culture and exploit and victimize my family. Not happening. So What was I saying? Oh, worth fighting for. So, protecting women and children is worth fighting for. And listen, I know that, you know, the brainwashed feminist crowd will jump up and say, I don't need you to protect me. I'm a woman. Right? Yeah, you do. And the reason that you believe that nonsense is because you've already been brainwashed and thrown to the wolves. And, you know, there's a reason why there is a push to emasculate the men of America with all the toxic masculinity and men are oppressors, you know, all of that nonsense. And the reason is because men, real men, will fight to protect their women and children. Yes, they will. And by the way, they know that. You know, they know that real men will take a sledgehammer to someone who would hurt a woman or a child. And, you know, these pathetic people, they prey on others and exploit others. And they know that. And that's why they hate men. You know, it's an alpha witch hunt to destroy masculinity. You know, and what they know is an emasculated little sissy boy will not fight. And they know that. Because real men place boundaries so that the vulnerable are protected. And if you cross those boundaries, we will break your freaking jaw. Straight up. Oh, you're so mean and I'm advocating violence. No, I don't advocate violence. But if you try to hurt my wife or one of my children, I will bust you, sucker. You know, some of you may not completely get it. I understand. Think I'm crazy, unhinged. You know, but what I'm doing is real and it's needed. And, you know, we need to use every platform available to us to say that we will not conform to the nonsense. We will not allow our women and children to be exploited. And listen, I'm not playing little intellectual games or just telling jokes or whatever. You know, these people, they want to tell us how to live. They want to tell us that they're bad people. I mean, that's what's really going on. And you want to boil it right down to what's going on. You go on, look, just go on YouTube, on the Christ Server YouTube channel. You see a bunch of people telling me how I should live, telling me how bad I am and how hateful I am. But the truth is these people are filled with so much hate and resentment, you know, and, you know, these propaganda pushers, you know, at the top of the propaganda machine, you know, they can have all the money in the world, but they're still disgusting. People see it, people know it, and that's why they hate everybody. I mean, look at this. There you go. There you have Harvey Weinstein, disgusting human being. Michael Moore, disgusting human being. George Soros, Rothschild, Steven Spielberg, just a disgusting, despicable human being, a vicious sodomite and a murderer and a pedophile. And Jabba the Hutt, who just fit in nicely with the conglomerate of psychopaths. But look, these people think that somehow if they have enough money and have enough success, that people will like them and women will be interested in them. But the truth is that a woman would rather hook up with a busboy than one of these disgusting creeps. And they know it. They know it. They get all their billions of dollars and they say, come on, baby, look at me. I'm so rich and so successful. And women are like, gross. Get away from me. And look, they know it. And so they hate the busboy and they hate women and everybody else. And, you know, women would rather hook up with Jabba the Hutt than these disgusting pigs. And they know that. And you look, money and success does not make women like you. And look, I know there's gold diggers, but, you know, gold diggers aren't attracted to the men. They're attracted to the money. And every gold digger that dives headlong into George Soros's playground or Steven Spielberg's playground, they nevertheless know that they're disgusting. You know, women are attracted to good men of character who are protectors and providers and are ambitious, not disgusting billionaire pedophile, disgusting creeps. And you know, all that money and success does is amplifies who you already are. If you're a creep, all it does is just give you more money, more means to be more creepy. And that's what these guys are. Check out these comments. What's up, Christian? See you there. Oh, my Lanta. What up? What up? I'm not even sure what oh, my Lanta means. I've heard it a lot, but what is my Lanta anyways? Is it some kind of heartburn medicine or something? Anyway, so as I said earlier, you know, there is a culture of wolves, you know, a culture of exploiting women and children. And you think banning me from Facebook is going to keep you from burning? Nope. And, you know, that's why they want to normalize this wolf culture. They want to normalize culture where it's okay to exploit women and children. And it is a real existential threat, by the way, because we see so much of it happening all the time. That's what feminism is all about. Don't believe the lie. It's not about women's rights and women's lib. It's all about exploiting women. That's exactly right. And, you know, they somehow think that if they can normalize a culture, if exploitation, exploiting the vulnerable can somehow be normalized, then they will not get burned down for their sinister deeds. But these people are going down. They know it. And that's why they live in constant fear. You know, the wicked will flee. And, you know, when people like me start tightening the screws on these people, they demonize us. Oh, you're so racist and you're such a bad guy and blah, 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 blah. How dare you and all this kind of stuff. You're so hateful. Fake Christian. Blah, I feel sorry for you. You know, take your medication. All this kind of stuff. And, you know, they want to tell me because I'm a white male that I'm responsible for other people's problems. That's all retarded. And you can take all your retarded accusations and just jam them. Not fazed by it. You know, and this you know, authoritarian freak show is terrified of people who can see through the lies and don't fall for the nonsense, who don't fall for their underserved, demographic, divisive, identity politic nonsense. But instead, we mock it and show how stupid it is. That's why I got deplatformed. For that. I mean, it's real simple. Just connect the dots. You know, I have a live stream with about 20 people paying attention, a couple thousand views, whatever. Not 1,000 people watching. About 20 people. But yet they still see me as a threat that must be neutralized and kick me off Facebook. Oh, but they don't see you as a threat. They just, you're just a bad guy. That's why they kicked you off. No. Mm-mm. And our voice is not represented in pop culture. That's intentional. But, the reality is our voice is the majority voice. And, the more our voice gets out, the more it compromises the integrity of, the media and the integrity of the whole propaganda machine. And, these people, what they do is they treat working class people like us, like we're a bunch of idiots. Oh, you're just a blue collar bozo. You don't know anything. You're just stuck in your old ways and all your Bible and all of this, all your religion and all this kind of stuff. But, we can see through the nonsense, and there's 0% trust factor. I would trust the advice of a homeless meth addict before I would listen to CNN. Straight up. I mean, everything, not just CNN. I mean, they're all part of the same propaganda machine. Whatever. And all this political correct, culture, it's all so retarded. And if you fall for it, it'll make you retarded. Collectivism and identity politics and all the rest of the Marxist nonsense is exactly that. It's just nonsense. And the truth is, nobody is really a collectivist. Nobody. It's all just propaganda nonsense to create a divisive culture to distract us from our real enemy. That's all it is. And, nobody really makes group identity the main thing. It's all cheap talk. Even within a particular identity group, if you want to call it that, people be like, sucker, I did that. Try being a collectivist on a football team. It's like, bro, I run a 4.240 and you're a fat pig. It just doesn't work. And nobody's a collectivist. It's all cheap talk. Biblical individualism is the only thing that works. It is the foundation of Western society. It's the only anthropological idea that tends to human freedom. Collectivist, socialist nonsense is nothing more than pathetic virtue signaling optics, which is just a sodomite synonym for, lying. Is all that is. And that's what they do. They get caught up in all their virtue signaling nonsense, saying, "Oh, we got to protect, the groups, the oppressed groups, and I'm a social justice warrior, and I'm gonna fight for, to protect the groups, and I'm such a hero." No, you're not. No, you're not. All you're doing is just allowing yourself to be swept up in a bunch of nonsense so you don't have to take personal responsibility for your own life. And by the way, nobody's a collectivist. Nobody can live that way. People have to be forced to live that way under tyranny. Which, by the way, history, the last 100 or so years is replete with every implementation of this leads to genocide. Nobody is a collectivist because we're not wired that way. We're just not. We're created in the image of God. We know intuitively that we have dignity as an individual and that our merits are determined by the quality of our character and our what you would say, I don't know the word I want to use, it's kind of flying away. But anyways, by your own the quality of your character and your merits to work hard, having a good work ethic and so forth. Not collectivist nonsense. It's like, everybody's kind of like, oh yeah, I will, I think, if you have a box of Twinkies, that you should split it up and share your Twinkies with everybody else. Listen, if you want to share your Twinkies, that's fine. If I want to share my Twinkies, that's fine. but nobody should be made to share their Twinkies. I probably should have used a better analogy than Twinkies. Twinkies sounds retarded. Anyways, peep these comments. It's for heartburn. That's what I thought. Thanks for clarifying that, Joe. Oh my Lanta. Somebody explain that to me. Like, I'm just curious. When you say, oh my Lanta, does that mean that burned my heart a little bit? I don't know. I'm just being retarded again. But anyways, biblical individualism. That's the only thing that works. That's the only thing that tends to freedom. And, you know, that's not to say that we shouldn't help people that truly need to be helped, because we should. But you can't make people help each other. You just can't make people help each other. Now, under a tyrannical rule, you can take people's property away and redistribute it. But we all know how that works. This redistribution game is all a ruse for those at the top of the pyramid to sit in their palace and, you know, rape everybody's daughters and take everybody's wealth and lead the charge and mass genocide and all that. I mean, this socialist nonsense. I mean, I just wish there was like a magic hand to just slap somebody, make them come to their senses. It's so retarded. Collectivism is so retarded. It's so retarded. Anyways. But like I said, you know, if people need help, you know, we should help them. And I do believe we have a moral obligation to help them, but we need to help them based on our own volition. You can't make people help each other. And, you know, if you understand biblical individualism, what you know is developing, you know, genuine individual and civil virtue is what leads to a functioning society. Everything else leads to totalitarianism. And that's historically been demonstrated over and over and over again. And, you know, the truth is I've never been into politics. I always thought it was just so boring, honestly. But it has just, over the last, 10 years or so, it's just become more and more evident to me that a culture was developing that was trying to just shove nonsense down my throat. And, you know, DC politics is nothing but theater. It's just all gameplay, you know, as I like to say, you know, Hollywood for ugly people. And I just refuse to be bullied by the crap show, you know? And, you know, what used to be the Overton window has just been thrown off a cliff. And now I'm being told that, you know, male and female is just a social construct and that there's no, you know, real distinction between men and women. It's all socially constructed, and that children can be trans and all of that insanity. And look, when you're grounded in the truth, you just cannot go along with the insanity. You know, you cannot be grounded in the truth and be silent. And, you know, there's a created culture of cowardice, but not me. You know, when you don't punch the world's time clock, you know, people perceive you as crazy and unhinged and, you know, all of that, you know, and these inverted reprobates, you know, they live in an illogical nightmare where they just spew nonsense constantly, you know, and outside of their bubble of insanity, you know, people are just done with it. They just are. And, you know, the DC, you know, crap show propaganda, you know, propaganda bureaucrats, you know, they look down their nose at blue collar people like us, you know, but, you know, we're done with it. And, you know, the irony of it all is that these people like Nancy Pelosi and, you know, all of these retards like, anyways, I don't even want to say their names. I don't even want to give them the time of day. But these people, they live in a protective bubble created by, you know, a blue collar built infrastructure. And then they turn around and crap on us. But I'm just like, screw you guys. You know, you want to crap on us, you know. And here's the thing, if you keep crapping on us, then we will turn and let you be fed to the wolves of your own devising, straight up. And you know, you lose the will of the people by crapping on them and disrespecting them. And there is a tipping point. And you know, the truth is that these people have running water and plumbing and shelter and food and are safe because of the people that they disrespect. You know, electricians and plumbers and carpenters and farmers and truck drivers and policemen. So then they turn around and they crap all over the policemen and say, oh, the police are just like the KKK, which is retarded. Listen, there's good people and bad people. That's just a reality. But policemen, for the most part, are good people who put their lives at risk to protect and serve the public, and they're needed. If there wasn't policemen, you would not be safe to lay your head on your pillow tonight, you retard. Let me tell you, without electricians, your lights wouldn't go on. Without plumbers, you couldn't even take a shower. I mean, the farmers grow the food that you eat, and the truck drivers truck it in. And the truth is you could not even stuff your fat bureaucratic face without us. And the protected space where you don't have to fear for your life and you have the ability to enjoy the basic necessities of life comes from blue collar people who keep you safe. And when you keep disrespecting us, we will allow you to be devoured by your own insanity. See ya. And so you just got to learn how to be thankful and respect people and be grateful or pay the price. And you know what I've observed in this just crazy satanic culture is that, you know, it's the psychopathic ranks that rise in this world system. But you know, they are not really in control of anything because they're motivated by Satan and their own carnal appetites. And you know, just like Satan, they can only survive in a world where people are actively believing and living a lie. And that's why the propaganda machine is so fierce. And that's why the way out is always the truth and only the truth. You shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free. You know, it's the truth that will light the way and lead you out of the labyrinth of nonsense. Without the truth, as it is in Jesus, we're all screwed. And so you have to be rooted and grounded in the truth. And you know, there are dark forces at work. There is a worldwide satanic conspiracy in play. But you know, the difference between me and some conspiratorial, you know, maniac, you know, tinfoil hat guy is that, you know, they'll say, we have to stop the one world order, man. And I'm just like, bro, you know, I just, you know, want to love my wife, take my family to church, you know, maybe take my kids to jiu-jitsu, you know, go buy some groceries, have dinner tonight. You know, do you get it? Do you see the difference? You know, crazy conspiratorial guy is like, we got to kill all the foxes. And I'm just like, bro, why don't you just, you know, love your wife and raise your children and, you know, love God, have a godly seed and educate and train your own children. And, you know, when you're not grounded in the truth, nothing is sacred and fear wins every time. And life just becomes a cycle of peering into the darkness and reliving trauma over and over and over and over again. And that's what these conspiratorial maniacs like Sweaty Meatball Wars do. They're just constantly peering into darkness, just reliving trauma over and over. Oh no, the bad guy, rah, rah, rah. Like, shut up, bro. Just know the truth as it is in Jesus. Love God, have a family, raise children, have a godly seed, educate and train them yourself. Have a godly home. Mama, stay at home with your babies. Don't get sucked into the feminist nonsense. Just go forward in the truth. I'll take a shotgun to the Overton window, but I'm not going to be the guy that just stares into the darkness his whole life. I'm not going to be the guy that's like, hey, bro, that gas you're pumping came from dinosaurs, or it didn't come from dinosaurs, man. Or, hey, bro, the Jesuits are running the world, man. Or, hey, bro, America is just, a Zionist whore. You know that, right? Like, not just like, nah, bro. Whatsoever things are true, whatsoever things are pure, whatsoever things are honest, whatsoever things are just, whatsoever things, of good report, think on these things. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people don't even know why they're depressed. They're depressed and they don't even know why. They don't know why they drink. They don't know why they're promiscuous. They don't understand why they're locked up in pornography and all of this stuff. But it's because they're living in cognitive dissonance, because they're living in a lie that they don't even understand. That's what this world system is all about. It's a constant, like I said earlier, it's like a satanic Ponzi scheme where the pieces are always shifting all the time. And apart from the truth, you just live in a lie, and it's a lie that you don't even really understand. And what happens is people's most basic intuitions do not square with what they've been told that reality is. And so they can't even formulate proper conclusions about reality. So they just do what they're told, believe what they're told. And that's what I mean by the insanity of this world. And so, there is a way out, and it's the truth. God's truth, the truth as it is in Jesus. And, don't get sidetracked by my methods, because there really is a purpose. And there really is a message. And it's, look, know the truth as it is in Jesus. Have faith in God. Trust Jesus Christ. Enjoy life and salvation. Have faith and family and community. Make good friends. Have children. Have a godly seed. The battle is fought in your home and in your heart, not in a cultural revolution. Not with a bunch of people with pitchforks and shotguns chasing down foxes, but in our own hearts, in our own home. Build community, have family, laugh, love, build relationships, create memories, enjoy life. Listen, love you guys. Appreciate you tuning in tonight. Christ servant of assassin. We out of here. Soli Deo Gloria. Peace.
It's conservative assassin, truth stay shining, busting on you wizards so the truth stay climbing. It's conservative assassin, truth stay shining, busting on you wizards so the truth stay climbing. It's conservative assassin, truth stay shining, busting on you wizards so the truth stay climbing. It's conservative assassin, truth stay shining, busting on you wizards.